Hello and welcome back. We're all getting pretty used to asking AI for simple things, right? A summary here, a translation there, maybe an idea or two. But what if you could stop giving it a to-do list and instead just give it the final goal? That, my friends, is the agentic shift, and it is about to change, well, everything. Let's break it down.
So this is the second part of our three-part series all about this new wave of AI assistance. In the first one, we kind of introduced the big idea. Today, we're taking it from theory to practice. We're going to look at some real-world examples of how this shift from managing little tasks to delegating huge outcomes is already happening, right now.
So let me ask you a question. When you use your AI, is it basically just a super smart search engine? Are you just feeding it these little one-off commands like summarize this for me or answer that question? Look, most of us are. But the real power, the true potential of these tools goes way, way beyond that. This slide just lays out the whole shift perfectly. On the left, that's the old way, task-based AI. You're the project manager, you're the one breaking down the problem, feeding the AI tiny little pieces, and then you have to stitch all the results back together yourself. But on the right, that's the new way, agent-based AI. Here, you get a promotion. You're the director. You delegate the entire goal. The key thing to get is this. You stop managing all the little steps and start delegating the whole outcome. So today, we're going to make this super tangible. We're going to dive into 3 really powerful case studies, a research agent, a travel agent, and a content agent, just to see what this looks like in action. And then we'll wrap it all up by defining exactly what this agentic shift really means for you and me. All right, let's kick it off with our first case, the research agent. And with this approach, your role completely transforms. You go from being a junior analyst, just drowning in data, to being the editor-in-chief, the one who directs the high-level strategy. Just think about doing strategic research. The old way, it's just a brutal 10-hour manual slog. You've got to find dozens of articles, you feed them to an AI one by one to get summaries, and then you spend the rest of your day trying to connect all the dots. The new way? It's a 10-minute delegated goal. You write one single powerful prompt, and you literally wake up the next morning to a finished, comprehensive report. Suddenly, you're the most informed person in the room.
And this is the prompt that does it. I mean, just look at the level of detail here. It's not just asking for trends, it's asking for the top 5, a synthesis of specific sources, and a super clear deliverable, a one-page report with exact sections and a deadline. This isn't a task, this is a complete project delegation.
So what's actually happening behind the scenes? It's not magic, it's just a really smart process. First, it plans and perceives. It scans academic sites, patents, news, forums, finding the real signals, not just the top Google search result. Then it filters and analyzes. It might find 20 potential trends, but then it runs another check for actual data and smartly throws out the 15 that are just empty hype. After that, it synthesizes. It finds the most important articles for the top 5 trends and pulls out the core arguments. And finally, it executes and delivers that perfectly formatted report. It managed the entire workflow from A to Z all by itself. Okay, let's move on to case number 2, something I think we can all relate to, planning a trip. This is about finally putting an end to what I like to call 50-tab hell. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You ask an AI for hotels in Tokyo, and you get this generic list. Then you spend the next 4 hours with 50 browser tabs open, trying to compare prices, locations, reviews, maps. It's absolutely exhausting. Well, the new way is autonomous planning. You delegate the entire, complex goal, you set your non-negotiable rules, and what you get back is a fully vetted itinerary with booking links all ready to go. And here is the prompt that makes it all happen. Just look at these constraints. It's not just price and location, it's a specific commute time. And this is the brilliant part. The hotel must have reviews that specifically mention the words quiet and good Wi-Fi. That's not just a search, that's qualitative analysis that you've just delegated to a machine. Incredible!
So how in the world does it pull this off? Well, first it plans, breaking down all your rules. Then, and this is so important, it acts and integrates with other tools. It's querying hotel APIs to get a big list of, say, 30 options. Then it analyzes and refines by digitally reading all the reviews for your keywords, which might knock the list down to just 4. Then it acts and integrates again, this time with the Google Maps API to check actual commute times, which knocks out 1 more. Finally, it executes, and it presents you with the top 3 hotels that meet every single one of your rules.
For our third and final case, let's look at something a bit more creative, more strategic, content marketing.
I want you to imagine having an AI that's basically your own one-person marketing team. So the old way of using AI for content is asking for, 5 blog post ideas, and you get back the same tired, generic titles everyone else is getting. You write something and just cross your fingers and hope people like it. The new way is a full-blown, data-driven strategy. You tell the agent, analyze my past performance, figure out what my audience is actually asking, and then create content that directly answers those questions. It's the difference between guessing and knowing. This prompt right here is just a masterclass in delegating strategy. It's not just asking for ideas. It is ordering the agent to do audience research, data analysis, and content creation all on one shot. It's asking the AI to understand what worked before, why it worked, and then to go and replicate that success in a brand new piece of content, even copying your personal writing style. And the workflow here is a beautiful, complete strategic loop. First, it analyzes and ingests your past work. It creates a unique style profile and figures out what topics get people clicking and commenting. Then it perceives and plans, reading through hundreds of comments to find the real, recurring questions your audience has. After that, it ideates and acts. It doesn't just brainstorm titles, it runs them through an SEO tools API to find the ones with the best shot at success. And finally, it executes and creates, drafting a full article in your voice, complete with external sources. It's the whole shebang. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. As you've seen across these 3 very different examples, we're not just talking about a slightly better tool here. We are talking about a fundamentally new way of working. And this slide really connects the dots. See the pattern? In every single one of those examples, the agent did these same core things. It planned, it perceived, it filtered, it analyzed, it acted, it synthesized, and finally it executed. These are the basic building blocks of an autonomous AI agent.
So what's the bottom line? The agentic shift is this fundamental change from delegating simple, individual tasks to delegating complex, multi-step outcomes. It really is the difference between asking for a tool and hiring an assistant. It's the difference between handing someone a hammer and asking them to build you a house. One is just a tool, but the other understands the goal and manages the entire process to get there.
And this leaves us with a really powerful, thought-provoking question. If the AI agent is handling the how, all the planning, the execution, the tiny details, then what does your work become? Your role gets elevated. You shift from being the doer to being the director. You become the strategist, the one who sets the vision and asks the big, important questions. And that right there is the true power of the agentic shift. Thanks for tuning in.